Hello and welcome to Richlands Bowl. This is the 1991 Goldpin Coca Cola Classic Grand Final, featuring two of the best exponents of the game in Australia, in Fred Allsopp and Steve Lovell. Fred Allsopp defeated Tina Peake, Dave Davis and Jamie Gore on the way to a grand final appearance, while Steve Lovell down Peter Lowe and had a bye in the second round and still seeded number one. So Fred Allsopp will lead off on lane 14. Joining him in the commentary team, Jeanette Baker and Terry Wenban, and he would have liked a perfect start, but not so in this match.
Exactly. I mean, this is the top two seeds of the tournament, and we see there Fred using the softer case ball, even though it is waxed up, and leaving the two pins on the left-hand side. It's much more comfortable than going for a nasty split to start off with.
And this is going to be a great test between these two, because both left-handers, and which one's the better?
That will be answered in about 19 frames, I think.
I think so, but, you know, these two guys have gone at it hammer and tong over the last 10 years, and, well, there's been, you know, some go for Steve, some go for Fred. This could be a big confrontation here.
Steve Lovell, 37 years of age, nickname of Lovey, won the Vic Open in 1991 and the Australian Open. He finished second, and as I said, is the top seed using the new Phantom ball. Ooh. And again, like Fred, an 8 count for his first shot in the grand final. And of course, had these two bowled the perfect game, or one of them, could have taken home $10,000. Compliments of Samboy chips. That stays in the packet. And hopefully we'll have another big prize like that the next time we meet in the Goldpin Coca Cola Classic. Now the business end is to win this tournament.
Absolutely. Both bowlers are hungry to win this title. It's very important to them to get the win under their belt. Good spare by Lovey.
Of course, Steve Lovell, he was involved in the original Goldpin Coca Cola Classic and got beaten by Dave Hardy, who strung together an enormous amount of wins and pipped him right on the post, again as the top seed. So he is dead keen to make amends for that. And Fred Allsopp, the Victorian Open winner of 1991. That indeed was Steve Lovell. Fred Allsopp finished third in the South Australian Cup and fifth in the Brisbane Cup. Won the 1990 Newcastle Cup and a host of runners-up titles in that year. Looking to make it in this one.
Oh. He threw a good shot. He did what was required of him, and that is, with these players, it's a matter of executing good shots, and if you make good shots, then you can make any fine-tuning adjustments that's necessary to get the 10 pins out. As we see, all the pins moving to the right-hand side of the deck, and that 7 pin, watch the 4 pin, just lays down in the gutter. Not enough impetus for it to come and take the 7 pin out.
Important now, if he can close this frame, he'll get the jump on Lovell.
Yes.
She's flirting with danger on the gutter.
Well, during their practice, he practiced that spare a few times, and he actually picked it up exactly the same way. He hung it out there. You'll see he goes right out, loses his balance a little, hangs on in the end.
He too, a member of the Brunswick team here in Australia, uses the Phantom ball, and as we said earlier, determined to be the Coca-Cola champion of 1991. Let's see what he can do.
He's got it out there. Ooh. He started to run it in. He only went as far as one lane. If that had been a strike and it was going to look like it, he would have gone another lane. But it went high. As we see there, he starts to ride it, stops knowing it's going to come high, and leaves the 6 pin in the right-hand side.
He's been saying all along that he is here to bowl, and he is determined.
Absolutely. He's determined to win this tournament, get back on the top of the tree, and there's a good spare by Steve Lovell.
A lot of his opponents have been saying he's a little bit past it. Yeah.
Well, when you're over 30, a lot of people think that way, but no, with this new equipment that Lovey's using, he's got a good chance.
We'll take a break here on Nine's Wide World of Sport. At the moment, it's dead even in the final between Steve Lovell and Fred Allsopp. There's the trophy for the 1991 Goldpin Coca Cola Classic winner. The two combatants are Steve Lovell from Victoria and Fred Allsopp from Sydney. And at the moment, after 3 frames, it's dead even. A bonus that Lovell has. He has a spare working for him. Needs to make maximum use of it at this stage. Let's see if he can get His first strike. 3 frames from both bowlers without a strike. Can he get it?
Sent it out. It's not going to come back. No, he knew it wasn't going to come back. He's using the ball's not waxed up, which means it's going to grab onto the lane and it's going to hook. So he gives it a bit of extra room, perhaps with no fingers on the ball, not enough fingers to bring it back, and leaving that single pin. I can't get over, Terry, just how tight both these guys are. It doesn't matter how many times you've been in the final, you can still react to it.
Well, at the moment, it's just clutch, choke, place, choke. At this stage, no one's really taking control of the match. They're both just sitting up there, just trying to do something. They're both enormously under pressure. I just wonder which one's going to be the first one to throw a double.
Well, it's very easy to sit back in the chair before your shot and mentally rehearse how you're going to do it, what you're going to do. But as soon as those fingers go in the ball, sometimes you squeeze it so hard, you think the finger holes and the thumb hole are going to join together. As we see Fred lining up, absolute concentration on target. Just trust the target and swing it through. Yes! There's the first one.
Well, this is what I was talking about. He's got this break. He got the break on that shot. This could be what he needs. It really is going to be who gets a strike first and who settles first.
He came through that shot really super, got the mix on the ball, and says, right, there's one. He's just got to keep attacking.
And the added advantage here is that he gets to bowl straight away on the right-hand lane. No break in between this one.
That's right. Big advantage.
See if he can make it a double here. That would really put the pressure on the top seed.
Setting himself up. He's got it out. Will it come back? Oh, wide again on that right-hand lane.
I don't know, Jeanette, but Fred doesn't seem to be rolling the ball as well as in this match as he did in his last. He seems to be topping it a little bit and the ball's going longer and not finishing. I don't know whether he's doing that deliberately or what he's doing, but you'll notice the balls just seem to be spinning more rather than forward rolling a bit more.
Well, he crossed a few times on that right-hand lane, and I wonder whether he's overcorrected and trying to get the ball further down the lane, and he's not getting the side roll that he should get as he covers that spare very easily. The guys have had enough time to warm up now. They're both left-handers, whether that's a little bit awkward for them, playing against left-handed finals. They're conscious that perhaps the area of the lane's going to wear out, the oil's going to move. Especially Steve Lovell's been sitting out watching everybody else play, and he comes out and tries to attack the shot. Oh! Once again, that fearful two-pin. He's going wide, looks at his hand. He's just got to relax the thumb and let the fingers do the work.
You see there he's thrown the ball further left and tried to catch it a bit more, and he just didn't catch it.
That's right.
Just doesn't come back. At the moment, they're both bowling extremely tense. The pressure out there for both of them is enormous, and it's just going to be a matter of who relaxes first at this stage.
Well, it's one game. It's only one game. It's not as if they've got a few games to play against one another. Good spare.
And the crowd's starting to warm up. This is a tight encounter at the moment. Fred Allsopp having a slight advantage. But we've seen things change so dramatically in earlier matches. Welcome back to Richlands Bowl and the 1991 Goldpin Coca Cola Classic final. There's nothing much in it. Very tense final. Both finalists yet to get into the groove. Fred Allsopp desperately chasing a strike here after an open frame, which led Steve Lovell right back into the match. Let's see what he can do.
Oh, breaking it up again. He seems to be moving deeper and deeper in the lane. It's almost as if when you see where Steve's playing, he's actually winging the ball outside 5 board, and yet here's Fred seems to be coming in more between 5 to 10. That's between the first and second arrow on the left-hand side, and it's like he's getting an overreaction. So with both players on the left-hand side, whether there's some patchiness out there, making it more difficult for them, whether it's nerves, we'll just see what happens in these last remaining frames.
Well, Jeanette, you know, at this stage, the match is anybody's to be won. Really, someone has to go out there and say, well, to heck with this. I'm either going to get strikes or I'm going to throw 5s.
Nothing to lose and everything to gain. Just go out and attack it at all costs.
This is the top seed, Steve Lovell.
No, he's gone outside that 5-board again, and the ball won't come back. It's like a build-up of oil out there, and it just stays out and stays out and stays out. As we see it, the overhead shot, sending it out from about 10 boards, sending it out through 5, and it's not coming back, and he's left a nasty washout.
You take the 3 and settle for
no, he's
open
got
frame.
He has to go for this. This is quite spareable. He has to go for it.
See what he can do. This is the top seed.
There it is.
Oh, yes. Now this might set him alight.
Well, that will be the confidence booster. Get fired up. He's telling himself to get fired up. He's got to get confident. He's got to get positive out there. He can't play defensive. He can't afford to play defensive at this stage of the game. So we see a good spare head pin taking out the 7-pin.
I think it's good for Steve now because it's given him a bit of encouragement to go out there. He knows now he's got something going. He needs to get away with it. He's got to break then off the wall. He's got to get a strike here.
He's got it early. He's got it early. He's got the break.
And the lovey shuffle.
Absolutely. Looks under his armpit and he says, I should have bowled it with the other arm. He's bowled the ball. It's down really early. It's sat, and it's actually paid dividends by going across. He's not happy. But he'll take the break any way he can. Looks across, the look of disgust. Fred's got to come out now and go back to attacking that pocket. He made a great shot on this lane before. Very unlucky to leave the 6-8. But now it's a matter of just do or die. Go for the shots as best he possibly can.
Can feel the tense atmosphere here. Oh, luck.
Come on.
Look at this. He's moved across to the next pair. This is an animated Fred Allsopp.
That's it. That's the break. Fred's one who can really... That's a bad shot. He gets the luck of the pin, a pin coming from the other side of the deck, and he says, you biddy, all right, come on. Let's get in amongst it. Let's get hungry out there. There's the break. The sailing pins. Over it goes. 8th frame. Nothing in it. 4 pins between these two players. 2 frames to go.
Terry, the dreadful uncertainty of 10-pin bowling.
Yes, you know, Steve wouldn't be real happy with that shot, but then his shot was a bit lucky as well. What the big thing here now is who can capitalise on their shot. They've both had a break. Let's see if Fred can get the double or Steve can come back and get it, because it'll win the match.
He's giving it room.
Oh, dear. This time, no luck, really.
Well, they usually say God answers one with the other. You get a break, and then you put in a good shot and leave a cold pin. But as we see here, Fred's down. He actually pulls himself off balance. Therefore, the 7-pin.
Didn't really finish the shot off. Doesn't get the ball rolled into the pocket. Consequently, rings a pin.
He got the roll, but not the right roll. He got it into the pocket, made the shot. So goes for the spare. Nice, easy roll. Good coverage.
Yeah, trusted himself. He's done that on a few occasions in this, the grand final, the Goldpin Coca Cola Classic for 91.
Well,
this is probably the biggest shot of his career right now, especially for Steve.
He adjusted the line fractionally, not sending it out quite so far, but still it didn't come back. As we see here, through 5, not quite out past 5, still light, 9 count is the result.
Terry, we're going right down to the wire as we watch a replay of that shot.
Well, it's never over until the 10th frame's bowled, and this game is very indicative of that. Easy cover, good spare.
Well, Chris, at this stage, there's only 4 pins in the match. Steve gets to go up now and play his 10th frame. If he can get a double up here, he can put the wood on Fred. Well, actually, he can shut Fred out. If he gets a double and 9 or 8 count, he can shut Fred out.
Chasing his favourite Phantom to come up with the
Giving
goods.
it room.
Oh, dear.
Well, that's exactly what he didn't want, because the 6 count now puts him the same as Fred. If Fred goes out there now and gets a double, he can win the match.
Absolutely. He's given it depth, he's given it room, but nothing happens at the back end. Perhaps too much speed that time, leaving the bucket on the right-hand side. He's got to convert this spare.
He has to.
Oh! There was visions of what happened to Fred before. He went over the right-hand side of that spare, but able to convert the spare through the 10 board, over to the right, yes, and gets the deflection reaction in order to convert the spare. And now it's a matter of pin count.
Steve has to get us. If Steve strikes here, it means that Fred has to strike on his next ball.
I would say forget about technique. Just get up there and throw it fast, hard, and straight at the 5-pin.
He's got to get a strike.
There it is. Ooh.
Well, what that means now is if Fred goes 9 spare strike, we've got a tie. If Fred gets a strike spare, he wins by 1.
Well,
absolutely.
Right down to the wire.
This is it. This is the shot.
Ball.
One good shot.
Just one good shot. Come on, Fred. You can do it. Just one good shot. Do it like you've done so many thousands and thousands of times before.
That's a
Look
difficult...
at the concentration on Fred Allsopp. 20 years of bowling experience. He's calling on every frame of that.
Well, if I was out there, I'd be just praying, God, you make this shot, because I can't do it. Just let it happen.
He needs to hit the pocket. He's got to get at least 9 or else he loses.
Which side? Where is it?
Oh, dear, look at this. Fred Allsopp and the crowd starting to react here. We're going right down to the last delivery in the Coke final for 91.
Well, he obviously threw that a lot harder. It just sat up on the back end, went straight into the pocket. Didn't allow the ball to hook in. He just put it straight at it. That was a great shot under pressure. That's what you do. You go straight for it.
Well, this is what we were saying when Steve got up, and that is forget about technique. Go back to the basics. Swing the ball through. Don't worry about how far it turns or anything else. Just go for your shots.
I think right now, if he loses a cold 5, he'd be ecstatic.
He'd be very happy. Very, very happy. But the thing is, I mean, I've known Fred for years, and I've never seen him so aggressive, so determined. He wants this title. Come on, Fred, fire it. Yes!
Oh. Yes, sirree. What a magnificent performance from Fred Allsopp. Just when he looked like he was down and out, he digs deep.
Oh, he went down to his little toes that time to make that shot. And under pressure, there it was. The double to just absolutely make sure he's got this match tied up. The gentleman of bowling in Australia. Oh, let it stand.
He'll take 9 and victory in the 1991 Goldpin Coca Cola Classic. He beats Steve Lovell 180 to 170. A magnificent performance. And as the players take time to gather their breath back, we'll take a break on Nine's Wide World of Sports and be back with all the presentations in a moment. 1991 Goldpin Coca Cola Classic final, and it was a classic encounter between two left-handers, Steve Lovell and Fred Allsopp. Fred Allsopp getting home by 180 to 170. Our major sponsor is Coca-Cola, and from Coca-Cola is Richard Chapman. And Richard has the runners-up cheque for Steve Lovell, $3,000 to help ease the pain.
And Steve, congratulations. Well, he's got to be a loser, but congratulations.
A bit of bad luck there for Steve Lovell. Beaten twice in a final of the Coca-Cola Classic, but $3,000 to help ease the pain. Once again, Richard Chapman has the winner's cheque of $5,000 and the trophy for our champion of 1991, Fred Allsopp.
Fred, congratulations. Job well done. Congratulations.
Fred Allsopp, the 1991 Goldpin Coca Cola Classic champion, and Fred, it was a classic encounter.
Well, yeah, it was. It was very close. I didn't know what was going to happen going that 10th frame. I just gave it my best shot and hoped for the best, and the pins fell over for me.
Fred, we know you as a cool, relaxed customer. We saw a lot of animation out there on the lanes.
A lot of people tell me I'm cool and relaxed. I wish I was. I think it's just something that happens. It's all inside, believe me, it's all inside.
Well, from inside to outside, Fred Allsopp took out the final 180 to 170 against Steve Lovell. From our major sponsors, Coca-Cola and Samboy Chips, and on behalf of Nine's Wide World of Sports, we'd like to thank you for being part of the 1991 Goldpin Coca Cola Classic.